You're tuned in to Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, a forum where we discuss and explore society-based topics while advocating and providing information and resources to the community through an unscripted, unfiltered, and authentic approach. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Watch us on YouTube. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, your society-based channel. Welcome to another episode of Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. I'm your host, and my name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner, your Mrs. Kentucky Petite USA 2025. I am super honored to be representing the bluegrass state of Kentucky in the national pageant for the Petite USA organization this July in Chicago. And so before we get started with today's episode, allow me to take the time out to highlight our sponsors. Our title sponsor, Goodwill Opportunity Center. Goodwill Opportunity Center helps individuals remove barriers to self-sufficiency, enabling their clients to overcome challenges and achieve their goals through support that's personalized to their clients' needs. Visit them today at 1601 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky. Or episode sponsor, Valerie Bond at Theon Global. Valerie, an affiliate of Theon Global, promotes well-being and a healthy lifestyle with use of these wonderful products. So for more information, give her a call, 270-559-2298, or email valeriebond55@gmail.com. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. Be sure to join our Facebook group. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. Now the moment that you guys have all been waiting for. This is the grand finale of season 4. This is episode 12, and our topic today, teenage pregnancy. Our special guest is none other than the great Shonda Hollowell. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I've been waiting for this episode, and you know it.
I am so excited.
Yes,
Glad to be here.
I've heard your story. I've been in rooms with you, and I think this is a very good topic. You know, we're all society-based, and so when you think about teenage pregnancy, you know, I want you to share your story, but it's going to be a story of such empowerment and such great insights. And we all can learn something from you today. And I'm so grateful that you took the opportunity to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yes. So we're gonna take it all the way back to the beginning, right? What was it like finding out that you were pregnant as a teenager, and how did that moment shape your life moving forward?
You know, interestingly enough, as I was reflecting on it, I don't know if it was shock or awe, but I also had to figure out how I was going to tell my mom, and I was already an athlete. So it was actually easier to tell my softball coach than it was my mom. My mom herself was a teenage mom. So having to navigate that as a 15-year-old in full transparency, was a little bit of shock and awe, just not knowing what to do, not knowing how to navigate it. And I'll get into a little bit of the story of that softball coach here in a little bit. But that was my first thoughts of just not knowing what to do. You know, not even having a afterthought to be scared or afraid. I didn't know that.
Just mixed feelings.
Just mixed feelings.
Wow. Yes. And so what were some of the biggest emotions or societal challenges that you faced as a teen mom, both at home and in school once this news came out?
A couple of things. And so I was in a program that is for first generation college students. And now here I am, this pregnant teen. So still wanting to continue in the program, and I did. But it was that pregnancy, that teen pregnancy, caused other teens to scatter. So it was, you know, and not only that, just imagine just walking the halls the high school halls as a 15-year-old pregnant teen, unwed, poor pregnant teen to be specific. But there was some beauty in that, if you're foreshadowing and think about it now, because where there was judgment, there was also support. There was also, support from my dad and my stepmom, my mother, my aunt. Once the shock and awe
was over.
Right, once that was over. And my softball coach, specifically, she kept reminding me about my plan. What is your plan? Your life is no longer about you. You got somebody else to think about. So I was blessed to be able to continue in my sports.
Wow.
Not only my sports, I finished high school as softball captain, basketball captain, color guard captain, and homecoming queen. Homage to the crown. As a teen mother, because of support. And as I was reflecting on being here today, Ms. Danette, I was able to do that because of the village. I was smart. And I don't mean that, I mean that in the most humble way, but I was smart. I just didn't have a foundational upbringing in terms of preparing yourself for life. And with my mother being a teen mother and having her challenges as well, that guidance had to come from the community and come from other people. So even in that teen pregnancy, it was still a blessing. I mean, I say that now, he's 34, if that gives you any context. But it was, but I had support. I had support community, still growing up in low-income housing and having to navigate between who's watching my son while I go to school, while I go to work, while I go to basketball practice, while I go to softball practice. We made it work. We made it work, and I maintained high GPA and all of the rest. Was a girl state delegate. Was still able to do a lot of things. And I don't believe that I am a unicorn. I don't believe that I'm an anomaly, because even now, teen pregnancy is still relevant.
Oh, absolutely.
It still exists here. My goal and what I would want all of the young ladies to know, don't struggle the way that I did, or even before that, recognizing as a young lady how to carry yourself as a young lady and the things that you do and don't have to do. And that comes with knowing your worth and understanding who you are. But when you don't have that, sometimes you succumb to physical pressure, all of those pressures that'll make you make decisions that will have a greater outcome for the rest of your life.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go very deep. I just want you to know.
Let's go.
Because,
transparency, you are welcome.
Yes, voice thoughts. I want to get in your head and I want you to vocalize everything. And so my listeners, my audience, the viewers, they have learned so much because of people like you who took the time out to be a guest on the show. And we can learn so much from various topics. And so, teenage pregnancy is a very sensitive topic, and
yes, it is.
It has pros and cons, and we're not here to promote,
absolutely,
teenage pregnancy to where, oh yes, you could, we're here to break the stigmas and help. As you said, the community is a village.
Yes.
And it needs all of us to be able to, whether help these young ladies to know their worth and know that they don't have to take that path, but if they are already in that path, that life isn't over for them. And so you are the true queen for that, in such a great way, because you took your story, your pain, and you turned that into purpose.
Absolutely.
And so I just want to applaud you. I know you get a lot of applause, but I applaud you for taking your story and turning that into a purpose. And we're going to get into all of that down the road. But you mentioned you got the support and all of that. And so, of course, this didn't affect your GPA. You took it as a fuel and you just ran with it okay. And because you had the support of the community, I think that's a major part. You didn't feel like my life is over. You took that and you get those support, those encouragement, and you're like, okay, I can and I will.
Absolutely.
And so I love that. I love that story. And so if you could talk to your teenage self in that moment, what would you say to her?
Wow. I would let her know she's going to be okay.
Mm.
She's going to be okay. Be the best mom that you can, and that you will be okay.
We got to take a deep breath, y'all. They always say, if you don't want to cry, just drink some water, and I don't have any.
Yes.
But now we're going to get into how you turned your pain to purpose, right? You founded the Black Coal and Roses Society, an incredible name, by the way. And so what's the meaning behind the name, and what inspired its creation?
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so you only have 30 minutes because it's a whole story. But so the name, Black Coal and Roses Society. Black is the color of coal. Coal suppressed over time through a refined fire becomes a gem. And when you look at the rose in our logo, there's the love those beautiful flowers, by the way. But a rose in our logo is representative of from a girl to a young lady to a young woman. And so the program and the logo and the name is designed to recognize that as young ladies, we will go through things, that you're going to go through things. But anything that is refined over fire can become a gem. And becoming the gem is that refined rose. And so that's the name that God gave me over 22 years ago. It's almost 21 years now.
Wow.
For the program.
Wow.
Yes. And
and
the actual program was inspired by my daughter. So I'm a mother of four adult children, 3 boys and a girl. She's the baby. And having 3 boys and had been an athlete in school, I was that tomboy. So I knew I've coached their games. I have, not afraid to toss the football. But that 4th pregnancy, I was believing God for a girl. And so I took etiquette classes. I didn't look at my ultrasound because I was going straight on faith, Miss Danette.
Wow.
And when I went in labor, I bowed my head, I said a prayer, and I said, Lord, if it be your will for a 4th boy, he's going home in pink today because that's all I'm packing. That is all I'm packing. And there was my beautiful Serena. So at that point, that became the foundation and the trajectory really shifted my life because I wanted to be able to make sure that I was giving her the tools and the foundations and everything that I wish that my mother would have or could have. She's my mother, I love her dearly, could have, instilled in me as a young lady. So that became a driving force because I wanted my daughter to be better than me, to be better.
I love that.
And in full transparency, I was determined to break the generational curses.
I love that.
And so she was that reason and that rationale for the name and the implementation of the group to be able to start that group. So it's always been with her in mind.
What a powerful story, and thank you so much for sharing that. Which leads to my next question for you is, what are some of the core values or lessons that you instill in the young ladies who are part of your program today?
Well, 2 things. Our mission is equipping young ladies today to become women of tomorrow, because let them know they can become Miss Petite USA.
Yes, they can
Kentucky,
do whatever.
Understanding their worth. And there's a foundational scripture, Psalms 139, verses 13 through 18, that is the fuel. And, and not to get into all of that, but recognizing and understanding that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. There's a difference between being cocky and confident. God says that I'm chosen and I'm set apart.
Right.
And so when our young ladies and our young men, but when our young ladies understand that, that's the fuel for BCRS, that they're understanding to equip them. It is okay to be unapologetically you.
Absolutely.
Because there's a gift in you. There is something that you are destined to do that nobody else can do. There's a gift in there. So our role, not only myself, but my mentors as well, our role is to pull that out of them. And sometimes they have to do that afraid. Because they, the shy, they come in, our parents say, well, they're shy, they're not used to all of this. And I tell the parents that SHY, shy, is selfishly hiding yourself because you have a gift. You have a gift. You have a gift that God is giving you specifically, and your gift will bless me. Don't keep it to yourself.
I love that.
So we push, we do, because every child, demographics doesn't mean you can't learn. Demographics doesn't mean you can't be great. But sometimes we need that reminder, and we need that push. We need that non-judgmental push. And I think a lot of times things like teen pregnancy or parents who are suffering from addictions or other unknown factors that people walk around and we don't know. It's important to be non-judgmental and to be able to help and to support. So that's the founding nugget of the program and why we move the way we do.
I love it. And we could go on and on and on and on and on.
Yes, passion. I know.
Yes.
It's passion. Get me talking about my passion.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And so, how has your personal journey as a teen mom influenced the way that you mentor these girls?
Oh, wow. It is the nucleus of how I mentor the young ladies. It's about your confidence. It's about, especially being an educator and being able to be in the school, where there's gossip and and I won't even take that to the school because honestly, there are grown women, adult women, where a seed of negativity and gossip and drama can be the forefront. My foundation in making sure that drives me, honestly, Ms. Danette, is simply knowing who I am. Knowing who I am and knowing my worth and understanding that. So I lead in a place of love and humility, even when your place could be to offend me or to cause me ill will. God has given me a gift where I'm not easily moved by that.
That's amazing.
Because I understand who He has called me to be. So it helps me to move different. And I give that. Our goal is to give that as a foundation to other young ladies. You still move, and when, and until you can find what that gift is, let us help you with it. Let us help you with that confidence.
Cultivate it.
Yes. Let you find that gift. We tell the girls all the time, I can only be me because everybody else is taken. And letting them know that it's okay if you're different. You like the arts. You're not the athletic one. You like different clothing and different styles of way of being. Do it and be you. Unapologetically you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I want you to share a success story with us of one of the young ladies in your program who's been impacted. Like, I'm sure all of them have been, but is there any story that's, sticks out to you that you'd love to share to our audience about, just anything, if you can, because I know.
Sure, with the sake of anonymity, but I'm going to do two because I had, BCRS in California for 17 years prior to this being the 5th year here. And one of our young ladies, she reminded me of me, and I probably poured more into her because I saw myself in her. And she was torn as to whether or not she was going to go away to college because she was needed in her, and, she felt like she was needed to stay home, and we pushed and we encouraged, go, you take what you have learned, you take, and we're still in contact today. Oh my God, Miss Danette, you're going to make me cry. She went, she got her associates, her bachelor's, her master's. Then she sent me a wedding invitation. The quick story of the resilience and the relationship with some of the young ladies. I've had the opportunity to speak at their mother's funeral, to give the eulogy, at baby showers. I've been to baby showers. I have been for the impact and the constant reminder. I get the stories all the time from the babies. Look, they're fully grown women now, and I'm still calling them my babies, of just how the group and the sisterhood, because they still keep in contact with one another.
Yes, I love that.
And how that's impacted them. So that's wonderful. And then even here, didn't expect coming home. We moved it to middle school. In California, it was all high school. So we have gone. We went younger.
I love that though.
We went younger to be able to pour the seed. Yes. So it's been beautiful, especially, there's a lyric from Tupac. Yes, I'm quoting Tupac, in his song about the rose that grew from the concrete. And sometimes we want to discard a rose too early because of the thorns. And some of our young ladies, we have to get through those thorns to be able to reach them, because once trust is lost, it's hard to get back. And so sometimes we put up those hard surfaces. And so there was one young lady, she had a lot of thorns.
Ooh, yes, I love this.
But I wasn't afraid of thorns. That's where that non-judgmental piece comes, where you have to not judge our families, our parents, for what they're going through, because you never know what battle somebody is facing. But to be able to be the village, because that's what we're doing.
Indeed.
We're going back to the village because it takes the village.
Absolutely,
it has
I agree.
to.
I agree.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. I'm like, who's peeling onions around here?
I am trying so hard to keep it together when I talk about it.
Oh, wow. But it's such a powerful journey that you're on, and it's just building, like just seeing it unfolding right before your very eyes.
Yes.
Wow. And so you've held so many powerful roles. We're going to get into it. Educator, minister, mentor, and equity officer, and now the director of student services. What drives your passion to serve youth on so many different levels?
I think part of that, no, all of it, is knowing I'm on assignment. My faith is hugely important to me. God has given me a gift with the youth, in every capacity, to serve them. I'm a people person. I love people, but particularly our young people, and probably because I was poured into. Growing up in Elmwood Court, it was a village. We had fun. We know we were poor, but it took a village. Where there was a lack of food, there was community. Where a parent may have fallen short, there was community and neighbors to be able to have that support. So it's always been there. It's just in different forms. And I think I have carried that over into my own personal life in terms of mentorship. And with the youth, it's what I know. It's what God has given me the gift to do and to be. So it's become a ministry. I mean, because it's everywhere. I talk to other people's kids in the grocery store.
Aww.
Some people think that that's a little crazy, but I do.
You have a passion for
I have a passion for it, and that's what drives it. It's a calling. Yeah, it's a calling. That's what drives it. Even when I'm tired, it's the calling. It's the drive. It's the ministry.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that.
That's my pleasure.
And this one is going to be a little bit emotional, probably, because you returned to the same school. It's giving me chills right now. And you walked those same hallways. That must have been such a surreal moment for you. So what message did you want to send to students?
You're right. It was very surreal. I tried to keep it together when I walked in the halls for the interviews. I returned to the same hall I walked as a teen mother, back to that same school as the assistant principal and dean of students. And that message to convey, with God, all things are possible. There are no limits. There are no limits demographically, whether your socioeconomic statuses, whether you are well-to-do or struggling, PhD or GED. It doesn't matter. If you're still breathing, there's still time. There's still life. And that's the message. That's what I want to send to our babies, to our youth. I said it earlier, I'm not a unicorn. I'm not an anomaly. And even in my current roles right now, where we look at a lot of data, we disaggregate a lot of data, Ms. Danette. And I take pride in explaining to our educators, while we have to look at the data, I am the data. I am the data. I'm a proud product of Paducah Public Schools. So I know what that pride and that excellence and that tradition is what I bring back, because it was put in me. It was instilled in me. And so that's the message to all of our kids, our youth, people, humans in general. Anything is possible. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And you just have to go get it.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
We're coming down to the end, I promise you.
Sure.
What advice would you give to other women and young mothers who want to lead, mentor, and give back, but they are feeling like they're not qualified or ready?
Sure. I would say to them, a lot of times where people see that mentorship is happening, or in comparison, I can't do it like this, or I can't do it like Shonda, or I can't do it. You walk in your own shoes and you do it. You just do it and you go, because there are so many kids and women and to mentor, or who just needs that love and that life, that you just go forth and do it. I mean, how many gas stations and restaurants do we pass that there's a gas station on every side, every exit, every side, and there, and I say this all the time, not cliche-ish, because I know that you are a queen, but I say this to women and to our young people. Queens don't compete. We collaborate.
That's right.
There's enough room for everybody to eat.
Absolutely.
When you understand who you are and you understand your worth, when I see you, I win. When I see you being here and doing what it is that you do, I win. I feel like that's a reflection. And I'm like, yes. And so I think when we understand that, and people who have a drive to want to do something like that, that we support and that we encourage, and that we love on each other more than pushing or more than the disconnect. Yeah, It works better when we work together.
Oh, yes. Yes. And so here's this tricky one right now. It's fun. We're getting to the nitty gritty.
Sure.
Yeah, we're almost there. But in one word, how would you describe your journey, and why that word? Your whole journey. I know I'm pulling out all the reflection.
Wow. Okay. You said one word, so I'm going to follow instructions.
Yes, I know you were like, hey, I'll give you 5, but hey, it's one word. When you think about your journey, and as you mentioned, you've been reflecting, even just coming to the show, and what's one word and why?
I would say grit. I would say grit.
Yes.
And I would say grit because I know I've experienced affluence. I've also experienced lack between the two. So I know how to survive. I've always had to. It wasn't an option. It wasn't a choice, even as a young mother, to figure things out. And so that grit, and I know where I get it from. I get it from my mama. That grit to be able to survive. Survive with a lack of resources, to survive when finding the resources. So it's my duty to pour out those resources to everyone else. It's what keeps me humble. That grit and that know-how and that determination is what keeps me humble.
I love that. Yeah. Love that. I'll always remember that. And so if you could leave our listeners today and viewers with one message about perseverance, what would it be?
I would say to the listeners, to the viewers, I have an email tagline. You know how we put things on our emails for our signature email. And it reads, if your presence doesn't make an impact, your absence won't make a difference. So whatever you're doing, whatever you are doing, be present. Be present in it, not necessarily for notoriety, not necessarily, even I would even say for impact, but will people know once you're gone that you were there? Did you make an impact? Were you intentional in your leading? Were you intentional in your serving? Were you intentional? So I would leave the viewers with, be intentional. Be intentional with your impact. Be unapologetic with your servitude and understanding who you are, and you have to know your worth.
I love that. Miss Shonda, thank you so much again for taking the time and being on this show for this epic episode, y'all. And so before we go, we're just going to highlight our sponsors once again. We want to say a huge thank you. This entire season would have not been possible without our title sponsor, Goodwill Opportunity Center. And of course, they help individuals remove barriers and get to self-sufficiency, enabling their clients to overcome challenges and achieve their goals through support that's personalized to their clients' needs. So visit them today, 1601 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky. To our episode sponsor for this specific episode, episode 12, Valerie Bond at Theon Global. Valerie is an affiliate with Theon Global, and she promotes healthy lifestyle and your well-being with the use of some wonderful products. Give her a call, 270-559-2298, or email valeriebond55@gmail.com. Again, you can watch Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast on YouTube. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I have been your host. My name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner. We will see you in season 5. God bless.